Welcome to Lesson 1.2, Modeling Growth and Decay. The I can statement, or the objective, is to use specifically geometric sequences to model decay/depreciation and growth. Just a quick review, growth is when a sequence is increasing or it's going up. For example, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 are growth. Decay, depreciations, is when a sequence is decreasing or it's going down. Please use the investigation that I handed out during class today to follow the rest of this lesson. We're going to do an example of an automobile depreciating. Suppose an automobile depreciates or it loses values as it gets older. Suppose that a particular automobile loses 1/5 or 20% of its value every single year. We're going to try to write a recursive formula to find the value of this car when it's 6 years old, if it costs $24,000 when it's brand new, or how long before it loses all of its values. So again, please use the investigation. Step 1 asks you, what is the value of the car when it is brand new? The value of the car when it's brand new is $24,000. Step 2 asks you the amount that is depreciated after 1 year. We need to do some calculation for this step. The first thing we want to do is to take our original amount of the car and we're going to multiply it by 20%, which is the same thing as 0.20. When you take 24,000 times 0.20, you're going to get 4,800. This is the amount that is depreciated, or the amount that the car loses, the value of the car. So then step 3 asks you, what is the value of the car after 1 year? The original amount, or the original value of the car, is 24,000. We're going to subtract the amount that is depreciated, and you'll notice that the value of this car after 1 year, it's going to be $19,600. My apologies, a minor error here. It is not $19,600, but it is $19,200. All right. So step 1 asks you, what is the value of the car when it's brand new? Step 2 asks you the amount that is depreciated after 1 year, and we find that by taking the current value times the 20% that is depreciated. And then step 3 asks you, what is the value of the car after 1 year? So we're taking the original value, subtracting the amount that is depreciated, and so after 1 year, the car is now worth approximately $19,200. What we're going to do is we're going to use those values and we're going to put it in the table. So for your table, you'll notice that the first column is the year. The second column is the value of the car. The third column is the amount that is depreciated. And the last column is the new value. Let's fill in the first one together. The year 0, which is when the car is brand new, the value of the car is 24,000. The amount that is depreciated is 4,800. And the new value is 19,200. Right. Year 1, the value of the car after 1 year is 19,200. The amount that is depreciated, now that's going to change because the car is not going to be worth as much anymore. So how we find the amount depreciated is we take the current value, which is 19,200, and we are going to multiply it by 0.20, which is the 20%. And so the amount depreciated is going to be $3,840. To find the new value of the car after 1 year, we need to take the current value, which in this particular case is $19,200, and we're going to subtract it by the amount that is depreciated, and that's $3,840. So the new value of the car is going to be $15,360. All right, let me make that a little bigger so you can see it. So I've got you started on your table. So what I would like you to do is pause the video and complete the table. These are the steps that you will need to complete this table. What you notice that if you continue with this pattern in year 6, we're going to figure out that the value of the car is now going to be worth $6,291.50 approximately. Step 5 on the investigation asks you to write a recursive routine to find the new value of the car for every single year. So here's what we're going to need in order to write an equation or a recursive formula. We need the starting value, so we need our U sub 0 number, and that's our starting value of the car. And so our starting value is going to be 24,000, right? Our recursive rule or recursive routine is going to be UN equals UN minus 1, and because this is a geometric sequence, we are going to multiply by something, all right? So how do we find that something? That something is 0.80. And let me explain a couple of ways that you can find that 0.80. The way that I think about this is that if the car didn't lose any value, it would retain 100% of its value. But because it loses 20% of its value, I'm going to subtract 20% from that 100%. And you'll notice that 100% minus 20% is the same thing as 80%. And 80% in decimal is equivalent to 0.8. Okay. Now, what if you don't remember those? Okay. What if you can't remember to take 100 minus 20%? Here's another way that you can find that number. You notice that 0.80 is the common ratio. How we find the common ratio in the recursive formula is we take the second term and we're going to divide it with our first term. All right. The second term in our table is 19,200, and our first term is 24,000. And if you take 19,200 divided by 24,000, you will also get 0.8 as the common ratio. So those are the two different ways that you can find the value of the car. Write a recursive formula to find the value of this car. So this should be in step 5 of your investigation. All right. Once we have a recursive formula, you're going to need to put this into your calculator. So remember, you must be in the sequence mode on your calculator, so make sure you're in press mode, change it to sequence mode, and then you're going to press the Y equal button. When you press the Y equal button, you're going to see a couple of things. The first thing you're going to see is N min. Okay. Remember, N min is a little subscript number of either U sub 0 or U sub 1. In our case, it is U sub 0, so N min is going to start at 0. Right? The second thing you're going to see on your calculator is U parentheses N. Okay? That is your recursive routine itself. So we're going to put in U parentheses N minus 1. And we're going to multiply by 0.8. To get the letter U, you're going to need second number 7 And then the N is the same thing as your X button, which is right next to the alpha. And then the third thing you're going to need to put in is the U parentheses N min. That U parentheses N min is the actual starting value of the car, and that is 24,000. Okay. When you press enter on your calculator, it will automatically add the bracket. You do not need to add the bracket itself. Once you enter this into your calculator, what you can do next is go to second y equal and scroll down and see when will the car be worth nothing. So we are done with the investigation that I gave you in class. I would like to do one more example before I wrap up this lesson. All right.